Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis, preventing tunnel vision and allowing quick target acquisition in awkward shooting positions. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, headlines indicate there are important discussions that need to occur concerning law enforcement interaction with African Americans who conceal carry. Ken Blanchard of the Black Man with a Gun podcast and blog offers his perspective on this serious topic. Plus, a federal judge just ruled that Trump's ban on bump stocks can move forward. What does that mean for bump stock owners? And as always, call us at 866-TALK-GUN. That's Tom Talk Gun with your comments, questions, and range reports. And now, here's Tom.
Well, hello. Welcome again. I'm Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. We're going to be talking for the next several hours about guns and ammoing, scopes and sights and holsters and safe gun storage and safe gun use and safe gun handling and being a responsible gun owner. And yes, sometimes, in fact, I'm afraid all the time now, being a responsible gun owner, in my view, also means you have to be involved politically. It means you have to be plugged in. You have to know what's going on. You have to make a commitment. I made a comment on Twitter earlier this week. And by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, you need to be, because that's really the news feed. That's where you find out what's really going on throughout the week. Over on Twitter, I am at Gun Talk. I commented that I've been doing this for a long time. I was actually responding to something somebody else said about the Gresham family. Talking about my dad was doing it, I'm doing it, my son's doing it. We're 3 generations into the gun rights battle. And my comment was simply that this is not a long-term fight. It is a forever fight. It never goes away. It will never go away. We're in the middle of it. We'll talk a little bit more about that today because we have action in the House of Representatives, U.S. Congress, passing more gun control laws. Well, the House has moved gun control bill. It's not been passed into law. We'll talk about that. And we'll have some of the people who are really working on this. Also, we have information about the bump stock ban. The people who know keep saying don't destroy your bump stocks yet. There's still going to be a challenge in the court, although there was a setback in court this past week. We'll talk certainly about that. And also, we absolutely want to talk about the whole deal of what do you do if you're involved in a shooting, legal shooting, a self-defense shooting, when the police show up. And also, I mean, absolutely top of mind is what do we do, what happens if you're a young black man and you are legally armed and you have a police encounter? Well, that's a sensitive subject, and we certainly need to talk about that. We'll certainly do that. But I tell you what we want to do. For a while, we're not going to have a guest on for the first half hour. This is just going to be me and you. It's a time for us to talk. I would invite your calls, and actually it could be about absolutely anything. The number here is 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. Well, it has to be about guns, okay? But if there's a gun that you want to tell me about, or one you want to ask me about, or you want to just tell me about a recent trip to the range, we love our range reports. They are important to us. We have, here's a kind of a range report. It's actually a company report. This one comes in from Eric. He says, I have an experience with Just Right Carbine Company in, let's see if I can say this, Canandaigua, New York. Boy, I'm sure I butchered that one. It says, I bought a .45 carbine takedown model a couple of years ago, and it would misfeed every so often, enough to make me not trust it when I needed it. I emailed the company on a whim one day to see if there was something I was doing wrong. They called me right back and said to send the gun in, and they would update it free of charge. When I asked for some confirmation or a work order number, he said, oh no, just tell them Tom said to fix it. He said, this is Tom, the owner of the company. He called me himself. So I shipped the gun. I got confirmation they received it on Monday. They fixed it and had it delivered back to my house by Wednesday. Now, they got it on Monday, fixed it, and had it back to him on Wednesday. He says, that's one heck of a turnaround. I really am partial to local American manufacturing because I am one as well. I am the designer toolmaker for Liberty Tabletop in Sherrill, New York. Now, the company he was dealing with was Just Right Carbine Company. It brings up this thing that we've talked about before, and I have talked about it a number of times. It's always interesting to me when people will say, well, I've got a problem with a gun. It's been going on for a couple of years, and it just doesn't work right, and I'm wondering what I should do. And you've heard me. What's the first thing I always say? Well, have you contacted the company that made the gun? Well, no. Well, why not? Well, I don't know. Well, several things are going on here. One, the company makes guns and products, and they want them to work. They expect them to work. They want you to have something that works well for you. Just as a company that makes stuff. Every company wants to make things that work. But beyond that, in my experience, most of the companies in the firearms business are serious about firearms rights, about making firearms work. They know that in many cases, the firearms we buy for self-protection to protect ourselves and our families. It's a life-saving device. If it's not that, it may be something that you're going to take on a hunt that you've been saving money for years or a decade. And that one shot at that one trophy animal, is it standing there in the twilight on the last day of the hunt, and it all comes down to that. They understand that. They want your gun to work. And beyond that, there's another thing here, and this is the reality of the whole thing. They don't want you calling me and telling people, the world, I bought a Ruger Smith & Wesson, Taurus, SIG, fill in the blank, Browning, anything that's not working. They don't want to hear that. They don't, and they understand, this is the other thing. Long gone are the days when any company, anywhere can say, well, we've never had that problem before. This is the first time we've ever heard about it. And you say, yeah, well, I can show you 40 sites where people online are saying they've got the same problem. Oops. No, companies understand that. Bottom line, if you're having, the other part of it is they're real good about fixing stuff. If you have a problem with a gun or an optic or whatever it is, give the company that made it a chance to make it right. Stuff happens. It's mechanical. Things get out the door. What do they say? Things made on Monday. I don't know if that's true or not, but they would like to have a chance at fixing it. And pretty much every time I hear from someone who eventually did contact the company, you get a response like this one. I mean, Eric's response that he got from this company, which is, once again, Just Right Carbine Company, is pretty typical. They sent me a box to ship the gun. They paid for the shipping to get it back. They fixed it, and then they shipped it back to me, no charge for shipping either way. Really common. So what can go wrong with guns? I don't know. All sorts of things. A feed ramp, a burr, a spring, a thing. I don't know. And sometimes, unfortunately, and this is the hard part, it's hard for people to get this figured out. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with the gun. Yeah, sometimes there's actually nothing wrong with the gun. That happened, the LCP. When Ruger brought out the LCP, and people were buying them like crazy. And they would take them out and they would shoot them, and they would get misfires. Oh, something wrong with this gun. It's a terrible gun. And they were contacting the company, and they'd send them back. And the company, Ruger would shoot it and go, works fine. I don't know. Over and over and over again until we all figured out, well, here's what's going on. People didn't know how to shoot these guns. They didn't know how to hold a small gun and make it work. And that holds true not just with the LCP, but with all of these small guns, 380s and 9mm especially, where you have to give the gun some resistance. You have to grip it tightly. You have to lean into it. We talk about have your nose over your toes, as in leaning forward. You have to lock your arms out. When you do that, it's amazing how many feeding problems you can cure. What happens is, and it's called limp wristing or not giving enough resistance or whatever. If you let the gun move in your hand, if you let the gun start coming back in recoil, the movement of the grip in your hand or the gun coming back, you're actually taking some of the energy out. And the gun needs the energy from the fired case to move the slide, to reciprocate, to go back and forth, which ejects the empty case, and then as it goes forward, it strips the new freshly loaded round and puts it into the chamber of the gun. The energy of the spent cartridge will do all of that, but only if the frame, the grip, the part you're holding on to, doesn't move. And people were not holding these guns hard enough, firmly enough, not giving it the resistance, and they were inducing their own malfunctions. Now, the word got out. People kind of got it figured out. But that was one of those deals where, boy, you think about what that must be like to be a gun company, and people are saying, well, these guns, they're not functioning right. And you're going, no, you guys just need to hold on to the guns better. It's kind of simple, but it's also it's a problem if you got a gun that's not working. I always tell people, look, two things. If your semi-automatic pistol is not feeding well, one is lubricate it. I mean, go ahead and put some oil on the slide rails and, get some good lube in there. And the other is grip it tightly. I like the way Rob Latham puts it, the champion shooter. He says, yeah, people ask me like how much pressure to put, 60-40, right hand, left hand, all. He says, what I like to do is I like to have 100% of the grip strength on my right hand and then 100% of the grip strength on my left hand. He grips them tight. And when he shoots them, they don't move. And I go, oh, okay. And people say, well, if you do that, you can't pull the trigger quickly. Really? Rob Latham, 27, whatever it is, time world champion, can't shoot the pistol quickly? When he's gripping it as hard as he can grip it, of course you can. And you will really, in many, many cases, stop the malfunctions. Just simple as that. Do you have a story about contacting a gun maker? I was curious about that one. How'd it work out for you? Also, range reports are welcome. Now is the time. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
The next big thing for the AR-15 has arrived. The Brownells BRN 180 Upper. A modernized version of the Armalite AR-180, featuring a 16-inch barrel, a 223 wild chamber, and a full-length pick rail. The BRN 180 skips the buffer system to allow complete function of the firearm with the stock folded or extended. Best of all, the Brownells BRN 180 mounts to any mil-spec AR lower. Visit brownells.com today.
Tired of searching the web for the best deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today for deals and discounts right at your fingertips. Handguns, rifles, shotguns, ammo, optics, lasers, gun safes, targets, gun cleaners, grips, slings, and much, much more. Save money on products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
All the refinements in Smith & Wesson's M&P M2.0 pistol series shrunk to a perfect carry size in the new compact version. 4-inch barrel, light crisp M2.0 trigger, aggressively textured grip for enhanced control, 4 interchangeable palm swell inserts, 2 magazines, lifetime service policy, 15-round 9mm mag, 13-round 40 mag. The M&P M2.0 compact pistol. More at smith-wesson.com.
All right, heads up, if you have or shoot a 38 Special revolver, or actually a 38 Special anything, Winchester, Olin Winchester Ammo is recalling 3 lots of 38 Special ammo. These all have 130 grain full metal jacket bullets. Okay, listen up, 38 Special. They've got the lot numbers and the symbol numbers and all of that on their website. If you go to the Winchester Ammo website, there's no point in me trying to give them out here. Nobody's going to write down these long lot numbers and everything else. But just understand that if you're shooting 38 special and you have Winchester ammo, there are 3 lots. Now, this is not very much of what they make, but it is, some of it. They're recalling that. So go check out the Winchester Ammunition website and check to see if you have any of this ammo. Let's see. To the phones, line 1. Henry's with us out of North Hollywood, California, with a cautionary tale. Henry, what happened?
Well, I was eager to hype up a little gun show that was running parallel to SHOT Show in Las Vegas, the Antique Arms Show, January 25th, 2019. And that Friday, I just happened to have the LAPD knock on my door and deliver me a 5150, where they held me for 10 days because I talked too much about gun shows on Facebook.
What? Okay, back up. My spidey sense is going off and say, okay, what actually happened? What really happened? What did you say on Facebook?
Well, I wasn't threatening them.
What did you say?
Was saying, I was saying, I hope to attend this gun show, and this was a, they said I was making terroristic threats. So I wanted to point out that anyone that's going to go over to Las Vegas and possibly try and get onto the SHOT Show ring, that they are touchy right now since Paddock did his thing. And I in no way...
Henry,
sure.
Henry, look, I've heard a lot of stories, and yeah, I know that people on Facebook are listening to stuff, but you clearly are leaving out something here.
No, I really am not. I said that they told me that Westgate is alarmed by how much I talked about the gun show, and apparently the Antique Arms. Yeah, Tom. So they were alarmed that you were on Facebook talking about attending a gun show. Yes, And it's all about having to do with Las Vegas PD being very uppity. I think one of the things is that, the gun show community might be cannibalizing itself, that they're literally got a little bit of their gears, tied up. Who made the complaint? The Westgate Casino and the Antiques Arms Show. The Westgate Casino is hosting the Antiques Arms Show. And it was running parallel. So they made the complaint against you. Okay. All right, I'm going to do 2 things, and I'm going to leave it at this. One is, yes, I know that people on Facebook, there are lots of folks watching, and you may or may not know who's watching, and you do need to understand that nothing is a private conversation. I get that. Number 2, I am absolutely convinced that you're leaving out something pretty important in this, and it's very hard for me to believe that just promoting a gun show has caused this to happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's so highly unlikely and so highly unusual that I think there must be something else going on here. I appreciate the heads up. It is a warning to everybody about, none of your online conversations are private, but at the same time, I just think there's a large part of the story that we're not hearing here. I do appreciate your call. Joe's in Houston on 2. Joe, welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm good. What'd you get?
Well, I bought my first handgun ever back in November. After a long process of shooting a bunch of them, I settled on the Springfield Arms XDM 9mm.
Right.
So I bought it used, took it out, put about 200 rounds through it, showed it to a friend, and he showed me one of the pins on the trigger guard was popping out. Oh. So I had someone push it back in, went out and shot another 100 rounds, so it popped out again. I called Springfield Arms, explained that I wasn't the original owner, told them what was happening. The lady said told me to send it in. She wasn't going to promise that they would fix it for free, but she told me they would fix it for free. and they did.
Really?
They sent me a FedEx so I could send it in FedEx it to them. They fixed it, sent it right back, didn't cost me a dime.
And you were not even the original purchaser of this gun?
No, sir, I'm not.
So how do you feel about Springfield Armory these days?
Well, I'm thinking next gun I buy is going to be through them.
Well, yeah.
Or at least,
honestly,
my first choices.
And people, that's one of the things they do. They want to make sure that when you're going about, you're telling all your friends, and I guarantee you've told other people about this, haven't you?
I have.
Yep. Now you become an evangelist, and that's a good thing. First of all, they want the gun to work, and two, it's a smart company to understand anybody, and I don't care what business you're in, when somebody calls you or comes in with a problem, that's an opportunity to make it right for them, and they'll go away. Because you contact the company, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get a runaround, this is not going to work, but I'll go ahead and try it anyway. And when they take care of you, you're going, wow, that was really cool. I'm going to tell everybody about this.
Yeah, my thought was I was going to ask them, well, how much is this going to cost? Because I was willing to pay because it's something serious. And they said, well, that's a very serious thing, so yeah, send it in, we'll fix it.
That is terrific. Now, I'm going to tell you that I am a real fan of the XDM 9mm. I think that you have chosen well. I think that's a really good pistol.
I do, too. Every day I talked to prior to that, I was saying, get a Glock, get a Glock, get a Glock. So I went and shot the Glock, and I was like, It was like,
Uh-huh.
And then I shot it. Then I went and, what else? I shot a couple more. I shot the 226 Legion. I would have purchased it right then and there, except for the cost was kind of way out of my price range.
Okay.
And I also shot HK VP, loved that one. I shot a Smith & Wesson, didn't like that one, and I shot the XDM. So yeah.
And your story is perfect because I always tell people, they say, well, which one's the best one? I said, the one that works best for you. For some, it's going to be a Glock. For some, it's a Smith. For some, it's a SIG. In your case, it was the Springfield XDM. You did it the right way. Congratulations, and well done on contacting the company. I appreciate you doing it. And thank you for sharing the story, Joe. I really do appreciate that. I cannot tell you how many private emails I get from people who say, I contacted, and fill in the blank. It's all the gun companies. And they took care of a problem. When you're making anywhere from 500,000 to 2 million guns a year, you're going to get some problems that go out there. It's just going to happen. And sometimes it's used guns, and they'll even take care of those, which is amazing to me. All right, our number is 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some serious issues of things that are going on with gun owners around the country, and some conversations that at times may be uncomfortable, but they are conversations that we need to have. I'm Tom Gresham.
Good morning, Mr. Gresham. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to host a radio show that will bring truth and common sense to the discussion of firearms rights in this country. Good luck, Tom, to you and your Tom Gresham's Gun Talk team.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham here. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. We're open lines if you'd like to join us. If there's a gun you want to talk about, a shooting, type of shooting that you enjoy. And it can be anything from, I don't know, it could be what? Long-range shooting, upland bird hunting. I don't care. We'll talk about anything. If it's about guns, I am absolutely willing to talk about it. Again, 866-TALK-GUN, or just call me at Tom Talk Gun. Yeah, we'll talk politics, but we'll also talk about guns and rifles. I was having an interesting conversation with a buddy of mine yesterday, hunting buddy, and we'll talk about rifle calibers for deer hunting and elk hunting, and we'll talk about the 6.5 Creedmoor and this one and that one. He says, I still really like the 270 Winchester. Well, yeah. It kind of 130 grain bullet going 3,000 feet per second. What's not to like? It still does everything it's supposed to do, everything it has done before. And just as with every other rifle caliber, it's gotten so much better over the last 10 to 20 years. The reason it's gotten better is because we have so much better ammunition, and particularly bullets. I would actually offer this thought. For the most part, the upgrade in bullet performance, terminal bullet performance in hunting bullets, almost moves all calibers one step larger than they would have been 30 years ago. That is, your 270 performs like a Magnum. Your 257 Roberts performs, closer to a 270. Things like that. It's an interesting situation. But anyway, if you're thinking about that, or if you've got a particular rifle caliber that you really enjoy, even if it's an old one, especially if it's an old one, I'd like to hear about that. Again, Talk Gun. Line 1, Anthony is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Anthony, thank you for calling Gun Talk. What's on your mind?
Tom, thanks for taking my call. I'm calling you because I'm part of the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, and right now we're fighting a lot of anti-gun bills in the New Mexico legislature. And one of the initiatives that we've been doing is, we're not the first to do it, but we're one of the probably the strongest. We have a lot of counties that are now passing resolutions making themselves sanctuary Second Amendment counties. And what
I've been seeing that, yeah. I'm seeing that in the news. Explain to people what that is.
Well, what the counties are doing is they feel, and we feel the same thing, that these legislatures are overstepping their bounds and passing illegal, unconstitutional laws to restrict the rights of gun owners. And what the counties are doing are fighting back. We have 31 of 33 sheriffs that have come out and said that the bills that they're passing are unenforceable and illegal, and they are not going to enforce them. So the county commissions now are going out and following suit and passing resolutions saying that we are going to be sanctuary counties and we are not going to enforce the laws.
What is there had to be something, one bill, one law that got passed that really kicked this off. What happened in New Mexico that's really gotten this fired
there's
up?
Quite a few. The main one and the strongest one is, of course, the universal background checks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's already been passed to the House, and it's been approved through the floor of the Senate. So it's getting close to be signed. We're doing our efforts to try to block it, but it's really, really tough. So if it does get passed,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, let me explain for those who, and you and I know what the universal background check is, and let me just make sure people understand, because there are several different bills and laws that get passed. This is the one that criminalizes the private sale of firearms. So if you sold a gun to a friend, which right now is legal, that would be illegal. You have to go to a dealer. You have to do the federal background check. It also makes it illegal to loan a gun to someone. If you said, your neighbor down the street says, hey, can I borrow that gun for, a week to go hunting? You can't do that under the universal background check. But loaning him a gun would be a crime, and then when he gives it back to you, that would be a separate crime. So that would be starting to stack up several different crimes. You could end up going to jail as a result of these supposedly universal background check laws.
Exactly. So the counties are seeing this. They feel like we do that it's unconstitutional, and they're making themselves sanctuary counties to block it.
So how's the state reacting to that?
Well, we have 24. Well, the states, they don't like it, especially the governor.
I would imagine.
Come up against. She's not supporting it, of course, and she actually tweeted something out against the sheriffs that were supporting this. So it's going to be a fight. Like I said, we have 24 of the 33 counties have now passed this, with some more to follow, probably at least 2 more this week. And we have municipalities, cities, and towns now that are jumping on the bandwagon and doing the same thing. So we're fighting it hard. These are unconstitutional. Of course, everybody knows they're against the Second Amendment, so we're doing our best. We are with the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, and we're the New Mexico representatives of the National Rifle Association.
What are your members saying? Because it's one thing for everybody to, kind of puff up and say, well, we're just not going to go with this. But is there something else that your members can do or are planning on doing?
Well, the only thing they can do is contact their local representatives in the legislature. There's 2 more weeks of our legislature being in session, and we need them to make the phone calls, send the emails, and just tell them we don't want this.
So the universal background check, has that actually been signed into law?
No, it's close. It went into a committee yesterday, and it was approved. So it's close. Unless there's some amendments that can stop it, that would send it back to the House, it probably will be signed. But again, we still have 2 weeks, so we need to try to fight it the best we can.
All right. Well, I appreciate you giving us a heads up on this, because it's going on in a lot of states. A lot of states have already passed this, and unfortunately, it just passed out of the United States House of Representatives. The U.S. House has just passed the same measure, and we'll see what happens there. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. 866-TALK-GUN. Kevin, we're going to get to you. Don't go anywhere. We also have open lines if you'd like to join us. Again, 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. This is Gun Talk.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Hey, welcome back to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here, 866-TALK-GUN. We're open lines if you'd like to join us. If there's a gun you want to talk about, a question you have, think about reloading, thinking about buying a new shotgun. What gauge? Ooh, gauges. I see a lot of people talking about wanting to get a 28 gauge. And 28 gauges are great. They're wonderful. I love shooting them, and they're very effective. But if you shoot a lot, you might want to go check out the price of 28 gauge ammo. You may be startled at what it costs versus, say, 20 gauge. And you can get nice light 20 gauge shotguns, say, for instance, for upland hunting. And you can buy 20 gauge ammo everywhere, and it is fairly inexpensive. And you can even get light loads in 20 gauge that somewhat replicate the light recoil of a 28 gauge. Having said that, there is something pretty cool about 28 gauge shotguns. I have one. Actually, it's a Remington 870 pump, probably 25, 30 years old. Just sweet little thing, fun to take out. And no, I don't shoot a lot, but I do actually prefer 20 gauges, truth be known. Okay, line 4, Kevin's with us out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Kevin, what you got there?
I got a Thompson Venture rifle that I bought it because I like the 5R rifling, and but after I bought it, I found out it was on a recall, and
okay.
I never dealt with that. And I heard y'all talking about that, so that's why I called.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, have you tried to contact Thompson Center? Have you gone on their website to get the information, any of that kind of stuff?
The job that I got, I work a lot, so I never really had a chance to. But I didn't know if you could send a gun through the mail or how you do that. Or
you can. Here's the thing. They will take care of everything. They will tell you everything you need to know. You just need to contact them first. Their website is tcarms.com. That's their website, tcarms.com. And then down at the bottom, they've got a link, and you click on it. It says recalls. And then I'm looking at it right now, and it says Thompson Center Venture rifles manufactured prior to October 28, 2011. Check your serial number. And then it says, if you have questions, call Thompson Center. You don't have a pencil, do you, or a pen? I can give you that phone number now if you want it.
Yeah, if you can.
Sure. Okay, it's 877-318-0644. I'll do it again. For the Thompson Center recall, 877-318-0644. And when you call them, have your serial number ready, okay?
Oh, sir, I will. Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
All right, good luck with that. It's going to work out just fine. I appreciate the call, sir. Let's see. Tell you what we do. Let's do this. We're going to bring in, at this point, an old friend of mine. Way back when I really got started doing radio, there was a guy doing a radio show. I went, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. And he's continued to do this and modernize it. We've got podcasts. We've got websites and everything else. And way back, there was nobody else doing this. Now we've got some black gun activist. But back then, it was pretty weird to hear a guy say he's the black man with a gun. Kim Blanchard just joins us right now. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, big brother Tom. How you doing, man?
I am good. Yeah, man, when you came out saying black man with a gun, people going, oh, that's weird. Right? That's scary. You were so far ahead of everybody else.
I know, and it's hurt me.
Sometimes it's not good to be first.
Yeah, I feel like a mountain man now, folks are living in the city.
And you don't ever like to say this, but I'm going to out you. You know, Ken was a federal law enforcement officer, been through federal law enforcement training. He's got that interesting background there. And one of the things you were right about recently, and something we've been talking about, I want to get right to it, is this whole deal of people say, well, you know, the police, they just automatically shoot young black men. And, you know, this is terrible. And going, well, you know, you've got your own take on that. You want to just kind of weigh in on the thing?
Oh, absolutely, man. We have so many people chasing eyeballs and ears on social media that they're saying stuff that they know isn't true, and folks don't even stop it. They just run with it because it gets attention. There's some serious media people out here. I'm gonna almost cursed that know stuff isn't true. We are a lot further than we were 20 years ago, and as a law enforcement officer that used to be one, I know that the folks who put on a badge, man, we go through some stuff to make sure that we do things on the up and up. And to be accused of it right off the bat before we even get started because of color is a bunch of junk. There's only one thing
I know you want to say something else, but that's okay. I get it, and I appreciate it. One of the things you said, which was interesting, is obviously a lot of this is pushed by media that wants eyeballs, and the more radical, crazy, and frightening, and that's really the thing. The more frightening the news is, the more eyeballs they get. But you also said something I think bears some explanation, is how important police training is, and how that often is the first thing that gets cut out of budgets.
Oh yeah, if you want to stop something, you cut the money out. And a lot of police departments, the first thing that gets cut out is their training. And you have the most trained officers are the ones who just come out of the academy. The senior guys, their stuff isn't budgeted, so they only have to maybe attend once a month or once a year, rather. And
right.
It shows. When you don't, there's a lot of civilian folks who spend a lot of time on weekends getting the best training, shooting, putting some rounds down range. And our police officers, unfortunately, don't have that luxury. They're working shifts, and training is not the fun thing for them.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Ken, hold on a second here. I got to run to the quick break here. We're going to come back. We're talking with Kim Blanchard. Black Man with a Gun is the website, and like I said, he's been there, done that, and he was. I mean, there are, as I said, a number of black firearms activists these days. A lot of them don't know it, but they owe where they are today to the work that was done by Kim Blanchard. We'll be coming back in just a minute talking with him about this, but the subject matter is the media and how they gin it up a lot. They actually make things worse so often. All right, we're back with you. We're talking with Ken Blanchard from the website Black Man with a Gun. Check it out, blackmanwithagun.com. And Ken, I was saying that, you know, the Coleon Noirs, the Taj Rays, I'm screwing that up, is these guys basically owe you at least a thank you, because you were doing this. When did you start doing your Black Man with a Gun, the radio show?
2006.
2006. Holy cow. A while back. Yeah, I was thinking it was, roughly almost 25 years ago. So, yeah, that's... All right, so we were talking... Yes, sir, go ahead.
Before that, 1991 is when I started as an activist, just helping with the concealed carry around the country.
Back then, it was kind of unusual, honestly, to have a black Second Amendment activist.
Yeah, it was fun, too, because I actually learned about my country. I learned about my people. And I didn't know that a lot of people in my own community weren't ready for what we have now. Today we enjoy a lot of stuff, but back then it was too foreign of a thought.
Why were they not ready? What was wrong? Why did the black community, were they kind of set against gun rights?
Yeah, we had Stockholm Syndrome going on. We were wanting to blame everybody except for ourselves for not being a part of the Second Amendment or being good citizens. We're still stuck on somebody else to blame. And I had to change my show. I had to change my whole activism piece from not just gun rights, but the Constitution. I had to start from the beginning. I had to show people that you not only have the right to keep and bear arms, but you have the right to speak. You have the right to assemble. So I had to gather people at local events so that we could actually be in number to do our grievances. I mean, just to go to legislation was a big thing. And it took me way deeper into our community than I thought. I mean, I was trying to do tactics and cool stuff. I ended up doing citizenship 101.
You find out, we got to go back to the beginning and start over, right?
Yeah, changed my whole world, though. It made me appreciate my country, actually. I've worked for it. I've been a veteran. I've worked in the military. I've traveled around the country. I've done some great stuff for our nation, but I had to get in the grassroots to do some stuff, and I started to stay there. Once the podcast took off, that's where I preached from.
And you do. You preach very well. I love a lot of the articles that you have there. Everything from gear reviews to, what does the Second Amendment really mean, and what's going on with the media. I mean, you got a lot of interesting, cool things at the Black Man with a Gun website. So I applaud you for that. We were talking just for a second. We only have like a minute and a half left.
Sure.
The whole idea of people wanting to blame the cops. And and look, you say on your website, there are some bad cops. There's, I guess there's a bell curve and everything.
Yeah, everybody has it.
Sure. But this idea that they're setting out to target one particular group,
that's racism.
You don't buy that.
No. I can't stand racism, elitism, or any ism when it comes to my country. And that's what kind of changed me with my whole Black Man with a Gun thing. So I make sure I include Hispanic people. I include my white brothers and my Latin brothers and my brown brothers and Chinese brothers and Asians. I make sure that I become the ambassador for the right to keep and bear arms. My website podcast says black on it, but it's red, white, and blue, man, all day.
There it is. Kim Blanchard, I just want to congratulate you and thank you. You were there very early on, and you keep carrying on in a great way. Your activism has grown, and it's so important. I want to encourage everybody to go to your website, take a look at it, check out your podcast. Thank you. You're doing well, man. It's good to hear from you.
Likewise, man. Continue to do your thing as well.
All righty, you take care. Kim Blanchard. Check it out, blackmanwithagun.com. When we come back, we're going to take a few of your calls. We also are going to be talking about the bump stock ban. What's going on with that? Is it actually going to go through? Is it, where are we in the courts? It's important. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. Also, if you have a bump stock, what do you plan to do with it?